What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another Chance Encounter.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. We're seeing more properties like this being built in front of a house that's going to be torn down soon.
I understand that there are power lines that are getting kind of close.
What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg, and that there is a commercial real estate building.
I'm joined today with Melvin Landry. How are you doing today, Melvin?
Do well, man. How you doing? Thanks for the opportunity.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm fantastic because my very favorite audience member is here today. And why is my favorite audience member here today? It's because this is a chance encounter where I interview commercial real estate syndicators, buyers, sellers, investors, all that kind of stuff. And why would I do that? Well, part of it is because of the law. See, I know that if you want access to private deals, then if they're syndicating, you need a prior substantive relationship that's documented, and that's what I'm
Absolutely.
doing. I'm making sure I've spoken to everybody and that there's a record to find out that I actually know what this person's core competencies are, level of like appetite for risk and all that kind of fun stuff. But before we get too excited with that, Melvin, do you want to give the audience a little brief introduction?
Sure. Melvin Landry. I'm located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm a native of New Orleans, Louisiana. Love real estate, and some of my hobbies are I'm a runner. I love going to professional sports events with my son, and I like to read and keep up on market events. I'm also a college professor, so I teach agricultural economics, as well as other business courses as well.
That's amazing. And you just got yourself invited to another content piece just because of that, because that's something that's been on my mind a lot, which is kind of unusual. But the first section that we go through, it's the five distinct motivations. Before I do that, I say, but wait, check your eight. And what that's about is, Melvin, I don't know if you look at your camera like a clock, you look at 8 o'clock, you'll look kind of where I'm pointing in the audience's screen, and they might have that hideous red subscribe button that they really should hit. I don't know if you can see if they've hit the subscribe, but nah, that's just a dumb joke I do in every episode. But the five distinct motivations, the thing to keep in mind when it comes to making commercial acquisitions is it takes months. There's all sorts of opportunities to go wrong. And so I got to know what it is that's going to make this person follow through. And I've found that there are five real reasons why people do it. The first one, and some of these don't apply to everybody, like this one doesn't really apply to me. Some people are trying to preserve their purchasing power. And what that means is if you already have a portfolio of assets, and because you own those, that's how you make ends meet, then the only reason you're going to make another acquisition is if inflation is eating away at your purchasing power. In other words, the cash flow that you're getting from ownership, or there's an asset crash. It makes more sense to buy things on a deep discount. And that's why some people are doing it. Again, that's not me. What I'm up to is trading time directly for wealth. And the reason for that is because I got a tech background, which is the industry of high earners, high wage earners, high salary, all that kind of stuff. And the problem that I had was realizing that I'm paying more in tax than anybody else. So shouldn't I pivot into something where I'm getting rewarded in the form of deployed capital, aka equity or wealth? So that's why I am doing these deals. But some people, they are attracted to commercial real estate because there's big numbers floating around. And if you can get involved in the deals, it matters for a lot. And so people are really trying to take control of their schedule. Maybe they want to fast track their retirement, but maybe it just means they want to work fewer months per year or something like that. And that differentiates them greatly from this next group. They're just plain ambitious. They're after that generational wealth. They want to make sure that their great grandchildren never have to hold a day job, and they're going to hustle into their 90s, which is fantastic for the team. But the last group, they're also all about hustle, but they've picked a sector of society, or maybe it's the environment or animals or something like that. And they've realized that you need a substantial amount of financial backing if you're going to make a real impact. So, Melvin, those five different motivations, what combination of those stood out to you and would you say describes you best?
I would say getting my time back.
Hmm.
Absolutely getting my time back. So, um, particularly for me, through real estate, even on a smaller scale, I've afforded for my spouse to retire only 6 months ago. I'm next.
Excellent.
I've worked a lot.
Hmm.
There's been times where, I've worked multiple jobs.
Hmm.
And when you teach, specifically in adjunct capacity, you can teach at seven, eight, nine different schools. Minimize sleep, lack of time. I need my time back. I have one son. I want to spend those glory years with my little guy
Hmm.
and helping teaching him the ropes. And he sees dad's successes in real estate. I want to keep that going, man. Keep these wins going. So, uh, anything I can do to garner my time back, anything I can do to not pay taxes. Uh,
Hmm.
my light bulb went off 2 years ago, and or in the academic world, they say, "Oh, I got my aha moment." Well, I got mine, and anything I can do to, uh, hey, maximize my time with my family, be able to spend to do more things I want to do, and not pay taxes, right?
Hmm.
Legally,
Hmm.
right? Enjoy the fruits of labor from real estate, making those decision makings
Hmm.
aspects, and it starts with mindset. You
Hmm.
know, last 24 months have been transformational for me, my growth. I'm excited, and man, when you talking about the time factor, in 2022, I lost my father.
Oh yeah.
So, there were three Melvin Landrys in this world. Now there's two.
Hmm.
So me and my son. So we got to keep the legacy going. I got to be healthy. I want to stay happy, keep a positive frame of mind. And number one thing for me, keeping the time to enjoy those memories, keeping my health, keeping my motivation, doing the things I want to do, and fitness.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
those are key factors for me. And real estate's a big factor in that. So that's my why.
That's a beautiful answer. Beautiful answer. So the next segment, though, it's about the tolerance for risk assessment. It's pretty easy to come into commercial real estate and be like, "Oh yeah, we're all going to be rich because there's all sorts of money involved." But there are risks involved. There's all sorts of opportunity to lose your shirt, and so I need to make sure that my guest understands those risks. And the way that I do it is with this fill in the blank question. There are many popular investment asset classes, but I think blank is too risky. What's too risky for you, Melvin?
Franchises,
Franchises. Is that because you
franchises.
buying yourself a job, or what are you thinking?
Been there, done that. Also, substantial amount of money.
Hmm.
Nightmare. I'll never do it again.
Hmm.
Lost almost $1 million investing in a franchise.
Oh man.
Thank goodness for real estate. It bailed me out and saves me from bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So I'm a testament to um, leaning on real estate. Bailed me out financially,
Mhm.
and I'll never turn my back on it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let's talk about the core competencies then. And if you are not already in commercial real estate, you probably don't really know how to effectively communicate on the subject. And it's probably pretty difficult to understand how a professional fits into a deal. To fix that, if you go to dandoesdeals.com, you can get my core competency cube. It's totally free. You can print it out. I want you to practice using this to explain the different roles to your friends, your family. Make sure that you can nail this because your career in commercial real estate is going to depend on it. So, each episode of Chance Encounters, though, I go through all six sides, and then that way, for sure, you know how my guest fits into a deal and how deals work in general. So, first, I always talk about the repositioners because they are the acquisitions people. They're looking at a lot of different properties, they're doing a bunch of different paperwork, they're doing one fancy thing, which is called underwriting, and that just means they're doing the math. They're doing the math because they have to find out, is this property actually making the amount of money that the broker or seller claims it is? And then many people just call these guys investors, but I'm more specific in calling them repositioners because they're figuring out, how can I change this property or how it's run to find more upside. There are three main tools in the repositioners tool belt to pull that off. The first one is to get more advantageous lending from the financiers. So that's the banks, anybody who is dealing strictly with money and paper and nothing else. There's a certain degree where every repositioner has some sort of investor relations going on, and that's
Yep.
how they make it happen. But if they can't get more advantageous lending, the first place the repositioner is going to look is more efficient operations. They're going to stop those Benjamins from going down the toilets there. But of course, there's a lot more to operations than just unclogging toilets and collecting rent and mowing lawns and all that kind of fun stuff. There's also a marketing piece, which is one of my fortes, along with automation in general, because of my programming and CRM background. But as far as marketing goes, it's key because if your vacancy rate is showing problems, then you can get those units filled. But operations are, it's pretty common for that not to be enough upside for a repositioner. So frequently they'll get a contractor team in to do renovations, aka a value add.
Yep.
And so they'll fix up the unit so that the next tenant will be happy to pay more than the previous one. But of course,
Mhm.
there's still a hard limit to how nice you can make it and still be profitable. And one of the key components of that is having somebody who can watch the contractor. And if you're like me and you're from the internet, you got a bit of a problem that's only fixed by having locals. Okay. You get boots on the ground, somebody who can be there in an hour or two. That's totally not going to be me because I'd be stuck at an airport in an hour or two. But when you've got all this team put together and you got a property in mind, the repositioner will turn around to the financiers and say, "Hey, I want to pick up this property. It's worth tens of millions of dollars. So want to lend me, say, tens of millions of dollars?" And the financier, they're going to want to know one thing I haven't mentioned yet, which is who's your sponsor KP. So if you just have a bunch of friends who want to take over a big apartment complex, the part that's going to be a problem for you is you're not going to be eligible for a commercial loan unless somebody in the fold already owns a similar asset. Okay. And then the other thing that might happen is you might not have a big enough balance sheet because the owners need a balance sheet of at least the amount of the loan. And then you also need to come up with liquidity. But if you have all of those pieces, then you've got yourself a commercial real estate deal. So, Melvin, as far as your core competencies go, what are you most likely to contribute?
I am most likely to contribute to help raise capital. I'm
Hmm.
always searching and trying to find deals.
Hmm.
I'm always looking to partner in on opportunities to help identify opportunities, help add value,
Hmm.
and help get the valuation of the properties up to where it needs to be to kind of
Hmm.
garner that financial piece of what you mentioned, right? They want
Right,
to
right,
add
exactly.
value.
Like the asset management with the operations team, and just make sure that you're building those portfolios. I love it. It's
Yep.
very key to be interacting with those investors. But let's talk about what the buy box is. So when commercial syndicators, investors are talking about your ideal property or your buy box, we're talking about three main things. First one's geography. So where is it? Which states, which counties, which neighborhoods, okay? It's all going to matter. The second one is size. We're talking primarily about multifamily, and we define size by the unit count because there's going to be a different group of people taking over 15 unit deals compared to the ones taking over 350 unit deals, okay? So you'd have to know what they're looking for. But the third one's class, and fairly frequently you'll find that people use the word class for two different things, which is something I'm not a fan of. The first meaning of class, it has to do with the condition of the building. So is it old or is it recent? Is it beat up or is it in good shape? Is it no frills or is it full of luxuries and amenities? That's the first meaning of class. The other meaning of class is also sometimes called area, and that has to do with the crime rate where the property is located and the school districts, things like that. But both of those definitions of class go off of the same system as grade school, where the top is A plus, and then you get A, and then A minus, and B plus, and so on. So, Melvin, for you and your team, what's easier to say yes to, and more difficult to say no to if somebody in the audience has a property they're looking to flip?
Well, for me to say yes to, ideally, I am looking for properties anywhere from 60 units to 150 units, A minus to B plus, B minus is my ideal class from a geographic standpoint, given my residential location here in Pennsylvania. Ideally, I'm looking in the Ohio area, Columbus, MSA, as well as other areas in the Midwest, Indianapolis as well, St. Louis, as well as Nashville as well. I am open also to Texas. I've lived in Texas for 6 years, where I ran a previous business.
Mhm.
And given I'm from the South, I'm very well known in the Dallas metropolitan area as well as Houston. So, in terms of what I would say no to, uh, previously in my single family journey, I've dealt a lot with distressed properties. So, not a fan of large buildings that are falling apart, that need a very huge lift from a value add standpoint. I've done that on a single family journey, and prefer to go into opportunities that need some value add, and to the point where it's, hey, you can kind of improve it, make it viable for other future tenants, and hey, leave a little bit of opportunity on the bone for the next person coming through.
Beautiful, beautiful. So then my next question has to do with people. I love commercial real estate because people are so eager to help you out, and nobody is going to be all of the sides of the die for any meaningful amount of time. And that really means that between us having our own unique skill sets and being better suited to help some people more than others, uh, we still are eager to help build teams or whatever. But me personally, it's the sponsors and KPs that will make a big difference in my business, and that's because of my automation background with CRMs and online funnels. Melvin, I don't know if you have any 506B deals going on, but the thing you got to look out for if you do is don't entice investors, whatever that means. But it's okay to say that you're eager to talk to people who are new or are looking to get into commercial real estate. But as far as the sides of the die, who would you say you're really on the lookout for? Like it might be more repositioners or operators. It sounds like you've got a lot more local going on than you originally mentioned. But like who are you eager to talk to more of?
Eager to talk to sponsors, always looking to build my network, and also always looking for opportunities
Mhm,
to partner. So
mhm,
even for myself, we're part of a team, myself as well as my wife.
mhm,
So we are kind of building our network. We've been involved in 2022. We crushed our goals. We invested passively in 5 deals, and we were able to get a GP opportunity in Texas, by the way. So, I'll use the track analogy. I was a half miler in college, won a couple of conference championships. I'm sprinting out the gates, looking to maintain momentum and finish strong in 2023. So, looking to partner, hey, looking to grow. Right, education is the great equalizer. Even though I teach, I'm always a sponge for learning and continuing to be as efficient as possible. That's where economies of scale comes into place. The old econ term adage, and it works in commercial real estate as well, right? As we're trying to build value and gain profitability across the board.
Excellent, excellent. So the next part is how to reach you then, and I'll just mention that my name's right here, and it's a pretty distinct one. So I'm pretty easy to find on LinkedIn, where I spend most of my social media time. So that's a great way to connect with me. If you scan this QR code with your phone, that'll bring you to the FAQs page of 506 BME, where I offer compliance services. I'll be your chief compliance officer, starting at 497 a year. The decimals after the seven, just so you know. But Melvin, if people want to reach out to you, social media platform, email, website, like what's the best way to reach out?
Sure thing. Yeah, you can reach me on LinkedIn at Melvin Landry. Also, you can reach me via email. You can reach me at MERV, at More Land Equity, MORELAND equity.com.
All right, beautiful. And then the last thing is actually not for you, Melvin, is for you in the audience, which is a public service announcement. If you have been watching this episode and have been feeling searing pains in your eyeballs, like migraine-like symptoms, it's probably because there's a super ugly red button under my left hand that says subscribe on it, and it's totally free to get rid of that stupid button. Okay, you just click on it and it turns gray, and then all that it'll go away. And sure, the reason I want you to do it is so that YouTube starts to pay for these videos instead of me. I think that would be amazing. And it costs you nothing. All it actually does is it means my videos might show up on your list of suggestions. You can go ahead and ignore those suggestions. I just appreciate the fact that you spent this time with me. Just like Melvin, I appreciate you spending the time with me. This has been great getting to know you a little bit better.
Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Make sure you 506B me. Any syndicators, make sure you 506B me.
Hi.
Oh, hey, yeah, here's my code. You got your QR code scanner? Okay, yeah, oh yeah, just hold it right in the square there. Okay, cool. And now you hit open in browser.
Okay.
Okay, are you already logged into 506B me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so there's my video. So now I'm already on your watch list. So when you get back to your hotel, you can find out what my core competencies are and my level of sophistication. Sound good?
Yeah.
I love your hat. Real estate's a scam. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
You too.
506B me, everybody.